So today I decided to change up the usual Hunter x Hunter videos, and I want to make a top 10 anime series of my personal choice. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it, I greatly appreciate that, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the video. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell on the top so you don't miss out on the video. And okay, for number 10 I have Hinomaru Sumo. Hinomaru Sumo is majorly underrated and it was released in May 2014. Hinomaru Sumo is about a guy named Uchiha Hinomaru that wants to be one of the greatest sumo wrestlers of all time. He wants to be a Yokozuna, which is pretty hard for him because he's a small person and you have to be a certain height to be able to get there. But with his willpower and strength, anything is possible for him. And this is one of those shows that's mainly underrated because it's a sports anime. The only sports anime I know that's not underrated is Haikyuu. And I get it, some people don't want to see big heavy guys in underwear fight each other, but I promise you, you will love this series. What personally got me into the series was the design of Uchiha. I mean, look at him, he looks badass. I mean, he has the nice anime hair, it's red, he has those nice scars, and he's a pretty big boy and he's rocking those abs. So it's already showing how much of a hard worker he is. And he's one of the most hardworking people I've ever seen in anime, besides Rock Lee and Asta, of course. So yeah, if you don't understand already, read and watch Hinomaru Sumo. It's greatly underrated. Okay, next up is definitely going to be Vinland Saga. I was originally going to read Vinland Saga, but the anime adaptation came out, so I decided to watch that instead. The anime definitely took me by surprise because they had great animation and they did the story really well. I feel like the anime could have been shorter, but they definitely did a good job adapting it. And if you couldn't tell about me, I definitely love unique anime, and I've never seen an anime that involved Vikings. And don't get me wrong, that's personally just me. There's probably plenty of anime out there with Vikings, but this one really caught my eye. And the character development is exceptional. Definitely not going to get into spoilers, but Dorfin has some of the best character development I've ever seen in a character. And even besides that, he's badass. He's a child in a war fighting against adults and he's beating their ass. I mean, he is the son of Thor after all. And besides that, I love the story because it shows that no matter what you do, you can try to avoid the outcome of something, or you can try to avoid war, but it will always come back to you whether you want it or not. Some stuff are just out of your control and you're just gonna have to find ways to deal with it, with violence or without violence. And it also has pretty badass characters like Dorku and Askeladd, which by the way are some of the most badass people in anime. Like, I really do have to say that they are badass. Next up is Jojo Bizarre Adventure. Jojo Bizarre Adventure, I got into that because I saw Jotaro, and he's definitely a main reason of why I got into the series. I mean, he just looked so badass. He had his badass stand, he had his fight against Dio, and it was the JoJo memes that kept on making me want to watch it to begin with. And it's his quiet attitude that I really love. People call him bland, but hey, that can be a personality too if you really think about it. Part 1 I got pretty bored of. It's definitely my least favorite of the series. Part 2 it got me interested. Part 3 I definitely binged the shit out of that. I love that arc. I definitely need to rewatch it now that I think about it. I haven't watched it in a while. But besides that, part 4 I really loved that as well, but it took me a while to get into, probably like 15 episodes in for me to get into. But after that, I was loving it. I was binging the shit out of it. When part 5 got released, I was able to binge it because I never got to watch it when it was released. But I loved it, but I just didn't like it as much as part 4 and part 3. But it was definitely a good arc. It just got really repetitive seeing the enemy with a stand that evolves around time. Like, come on bro, I get it, you love time, but give us a new villain that has some new powers and stuff. Like, that really got annoying to me. After that, I haven't read the other parts, but I do plan on reading it, so maybe I'll like those more. But after that, we have Attack on Titan. And Attack on Titan really proved itself with its character development. I'm not going to say for who, but one of the characters in the series has some of the best development I've ever seen. And that goes back to Vinland Saga. I really love an anime that has great character development and that's really unique. And it also caught my eye at episode 1. I mean, I've never seen an anime that starts off with Titans eating humans. And people always say that they don't like Eren, that he's too bratty, but come on, if your mom died in front of you from somebody eating it, I would be a pretty bratty child too. And I also love the characters, Levi especially with his fight against the Beast Titan. That fight was a great fight. Also when he was chasing down Kenny, that was also a great fight as well. And okay, next up is Dragon Ball Z. And by no means am I saying that Dragon Ball Z is better than any of the other anime that's showing up on this list. It's just one of my personal favorites because of nostalgia alone. And how can it not be nostalgic? You have great villains, great Super Saiyan transformations. How can you ever forget the Super Saiyan 1 transformation and the Super Saiyan 2 transformation? I mean, how? And hey, if they took a more serious approach and actually gave us an ending with Goku and them and started a new series, I wouldn't mind that as well. There's so many things we can explore with the Dragon Ball series that doesn't evolve around Goku and Vegeta, so I would definitely love if they expanded on that. Okay, next up is Dr. Stone. So it took me a while to get into this, just like Vinland Saga, but as soon as I stepped into it, I started to love it. Like I said before, I love unique anime. I've never seen an anime like this. It teaches you about science, and when an anime can teach me something, I'm very impressed. The characters are lovable. Byakuya is one of the best fighters in the anime I've ever seen. Senku is one of the best MCs I've ever known. I mean, the dude counted for 3,700 plus years. And he didn't go insane because he's just dumb man. Also, I love it that he's not a strong MC physically wise, because there's other people in the series that will slaughter him. And he always tries to resolve the problems without getting anybody hurt. And it's mostly just a strong exploration anime, so I definitely recommend it. And next up is Death Note. How can you not like Death Note? I've met few people in my life that actually dislike Death Note. Death Note is that anime that you can always come back to and be amazed every time you watch it. I'm not going to say all the characters are great, but you have L, Light, Ryuk, such lovable people that make the series expand. And it was one of the first crime anime I've ever watched, and it made me fall in love with anime even more when I was starting to get into it. It definitely takes the cake as the best anime to like start getting into anime with. You could recommend this anime to almost anybody and they'll love it. They also released a one-shot manga this year that you should definitely try out because the one-shot manga was really great. And I'm not gonna say anything, but the new MC for this one-shot, he's not smarter than Light, but he's definitely smart, I'll say that. He definitely did get hold in the ending, but you'll see that for yourself when you read it. Okay, next up is One Piece, and this anime was one of my favorites before I even began it. As soon as I saw Luffy and his character, because I played Pirate Warriors 3 first, I knew I was gonna fall in love with the series. And you have great arcs in the series like Marineford, Wano, Arlong Park. It keeps on going. And yes, I know the main reason people don't want to get into it is because it's long, but just ignore that part because you're gonna love the series. You're gonna love it. Just because it's a long series doesn't make it a bad one, and you're gonna love every single part of that. The world building in this anime is great, and I always recommend if people want to get into the manga or the anime, definitely start with the manga first and make sure it's the colored one. Because if you're anything like me, you don't like old animation and you have to read manga if you're gonna get into an older series. Okay, next up is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and it actually had a slow start, but I loved it more and more and more the more I watched it. The anime is just so unique with the characters, the soundtrack, and the power system. I've never seen an anime use a power system like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I've never seen an anime use alchemy like this. I don't think I've seen any anime use alchemy, to be honest. There's probably a lot out there, but I just haven't personally seen it. And I just love how the main characters go. It's still a goal, but there's an even bigger threat out there than what they're trying to accomplish. And did I mention the soundtrack? Because the soundtrack for this anime is amazing. Honestly, I don't think I've had a single anime on this list that's had a bad soundtrack. Each one of them is GOAT. Okay, and I'm about to go on to my last one, and I want you guys to guess which anime is going to be. If you go on my channel and look at my videos, you probably have a guess as to what this is going to be. And if you have a guess, then I'm going to tell you, it's Hunter x Hunter. And I don't care if you hate that I use the X in the name, I'm gonna use it because I like the name like that. Hunter x Hunter is by far the best anime I've ever seen. It's the best series I've ever seen in my life. It has such amazing people that can have stories of their own, and we follow some of the stories in the anime. I'm just gonna list the top of people from the top of my head that could have their own series. Kurolo, Hisoka, Jing, Zeno, Leorio, Kurapika. I mean, it could just keep on going on and on and on. The power system is definitely the best power system I've seen in any series so far. It's just so complex and unique, and you can make almost any power you want to, but it also comes at a price. That's what I love about it. You could be the most OP bastard in the series, but what price did you pay to accomplish that power? And people are probably gonna get on me about this, but I really do not like. I like Gon, but he pisses me off. This isn't really a spoiler, but during the Ant arc, he really pissed me off about how he was treating Killua. I mean, dog, this man did almost everything for you, and this is how you treat him? But yeah, that just pisses me off every time I see it. Okay, and I have one last one, and this isn't my number one, but it's definitely an honorable mention. And that honorable mention is definitely going to be One Punch Man. One Punch Man is such a great anime, and it took me by surprise. I'm not going to say it has the best power system, but the power system is definitely cool and unique, and how it has monsterification and stuff like that. And you have the S-class heroes, the dragon rank monsters, and you have Garo, which is one of the most badass people in anime or any series I've ever seen. Say what you want, but I love that man. And the season 2 anime wasn't nearly as bad as people say it was. People just got off the hype of the first season and they transferred it to the second season and they were disappointed. And don't get me wrong, the second season definitely isn't better than the first season, but it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. And the series is very funny when it comes to comedy. I mean, imagine seeing people struggling against a monster just to see a bald guy come out of nowhere and one-shot it with a stupid expression on his face. And I mean, bro, I just really love that series. If I was to put it on my top 10, it would definitely probably be number 5, most likely. But that's it for my top 10 and honorable mention. How do you guys feel about it below? Comment your favorite top 10 anime series of all time in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. I greatly appreciate that. Subscribe and hit the notification bell at the top so you don't miss out on the video. Make sure to follow me on my Twitter. It'll be in the description below, and I will see you guys later.